Oh, yeah, because that sounded like
Thank you everyone for coming to our first of 4 debates hosted by the judicial panel this year. Be sure to join the conversation using hashtag OhioUElections. On Student Senate social media, you will find a link to submit questions for all the candidates as well as the schedule for future debates. We look forward to hearing from all the candidates this evening, and we hope to provide an informative debate. We drew ticket names out of a hat to determine the order for opening statements. So Fight's treasurer will start with their opening statement, then Green Light's treasurer will say their opening statement, and then Boyce's treasurer. After that, we will move to Fight's VP and so on. For all questions except the first question, each ticket will alternate on who answers first, following the same order as opening statements. Each ticket will get 90 seconds to answer every question, picking themselves who will respond from their ticket. So if ticket A is answering first, then they get 90 seconds to answer. Then ticket B gets 90 seconds, followed by ticket C. Upon request, we will allow tickets a chance to respond to another ticket after all tickets have had a chance to initially respond to the question. This can only occur if the ticket requesting a response was referenced during the other's answer to a question. We're looking forward to a quality debate this evening. Let's go ahead and get started with opening statements. Each of you has 2 minutes. Fight, please begin with your picture.
and volunteering, and has served as the Training Squadron Director of Operations, spending over 110 hours planning and executing all training at Ohio University's Air Force ROTC wing this past semester. As a member of the Marching 110 Drumline, he's on the front lines of Bobcat Pride and has a great view of all Ohio University has to offer. We as a ticket want to make sure that all Bobcats have access to the resources that they need to succeed to meet their goals. We will fight for all students, making sure Student Senate is an organization that focuses first and foremost on serving all Bobcats. His experience also ranges from Northwestern Mutual College Financial Representative, where he works with his own clients to help them plan for their futures, creating financial plans and budgeting plans. He was also lucky enough to spend only 1 semester, unfortunately, but 1 semester with the Equity Management Group. That is the student organization that manages over $7.8 million of university funds. His areas that he really wants to focus on are the tuition cap. Our advisor is Dr. Richard Vetter, so we want to work with him very closely. He is a nationally recognized economist working specifically with universities to make sure that they're running smoothly, as well as figuring out other ways that we can bring in income to Ohio University so that we take the burden off of students and put it more on the university for a lot of the funding that they get. So again, his name is Caleb Klein, and he is running for our treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you. Green Light with your treasurer, please.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to those who came out tonight and also to those watching on the live stream. My name is Zachary Woods, he, him, his pronouns, and I am running for treasurer of Student Senate with Green Light. I am a junior studying biological sciences, pre-medicine, and sociology. On campus, I serve as an executive in my fraternity, Alpha Phi Omega. I'm a second-year resident advisor and a first-year teaching assistant and research assistant. I have been involved in Student Senate in different capacities for the past 3 years, and it was Senate where I found my love for campus involvement. I am running for treasurer for 2 reasons: to increase the transparency and efficiency of our internal and external funds, and to aid in the betterment of our campus and our home over a wide variety of ways, as laid out in the Green Light platform. With my experience in the Senate Appropriations Commission, I understand the importance of budget transparency and what it means to students and the organizations they are part of. As treasurer, I want to first make students know, As treasurer, I want to first make sure students know what is being done with their tuition, and second, I want to listen to students and advocate for how they wish to spend their own money. As a team, Greenlight's main goal is to truly listen to the students of our university and to build a body of accountable leaders that can find the achievable solutions to any issue. In the past 6 months, we have built that team and talked with many students, faculty, and administrators to find the ways to meet those goals. We are Greenlight, and together we can improve Ohio University for all Bobcats.
Thank you. Voice with your treasurer, please.
Hello, my name is Dane Hudson. I'm currently a junior studying finance and business economics in the College of Business. Some of the experience that I've had on campus is actually as president of the Fixed Income Management Group. We're a student group on campus that manages $2.8 million to the university's endowment fund, which I think is a pretty good experience for a treasurer. I've also been involved in the Senate Appropriations Commission as a COC at large. This has given me a lot of time to study and get to talk to people, especially in different student organizations around campus, which I found to be really insightful. I've also had the opportunity to work with the General Fee, which is a commission on campus that helps to form a student body that will decide how these funds are going to be allocated to meet student needs most appropriately. I think all of this experience, combined with 2 internships, one with Fidelity Investments and one with Downhill Capital Management, make me a successful candidate for treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you. Fight with your vice president, please.
My name is Allison Beautiful, and I'm running as the Vice President of the Fight Ticket. I'm currently a junior here at Ohio University, and my major is Health Services Administration. I'm running for Vice President because I believe I can make an impact on this campus for the better. I have leadership experience in my social sorority, Alpha Gamma Delta, which I was focused on the finances of our sorority. I took us way out of debt and actually moved us above and beyond where we need to be, which was a huge success for our chapter. With that position that I held for a year, it gave me great experience in being a leader. Not only did I learn how to solve problems with finances, but also with people in general. I love working with people. I think that I'm a huge people person. But I felt as though my goals with that organization had been met. So I wanted to move on to something a little bit more challenging, a little bit more bigger, better. So I wanted to make a bigger impact on campus before I left. With Student Senate, I believe that when it reaches its full potential, it would represent all students and organizations on this campus. I believe that any governing body should strive to meet the goals and adapt to the culture of its campus and really represent the people that are paying the tuition and really putting in the time and effort that it takes to make this campus the best place possible. One of the biggest things I do want to focus on is diversity and inclusion. That for me would be a huge success if I could manage that and get that underway. So like I said, I'm Allison Beautiful, running for Vice President of the Fight Ticket.
Thank you. Greenlight with your VP, please.
Hello, and thank you all for coming this evening. I'm Nicole Schneider, she, hers pronouns, and I'm running for Vice President of Student Senate with Greenlight. I'm a junior studying political science, pre-law, and journalism. A quick background on me. I've been a part of Student Senate for the past 2 years as the University Life Vice Commissioner and now a Senator at Large. I served as Vice President of my sorority, Pi Beta Phi, and currently serve as the Executive Vice President for the Women's Panhellenic Association. These experiences have strengthened my leadership skills in ways essential to this position. We have built a ticket of ambitious student leaders for Greenlight. These future senators will maintain a strict sense of accountability. We have decided to make our platform the basic structure of our work next year. There will be due dates on all of our points, and those will be available to students so that they may constantly see what we're doing and keep us in line with our progress. As Vice President, I will create a positive and productive environment within Student Senate. I want senators to feel free to express their views within our meetings so they can truly represent different pockets of campus. Greenlight emphasizes the importance of our commission work. In order to make this successful, I will strengthen the communication and connection between commissioners and myself. This leads back to accountability. As an executive team, I feel that we bring out the best leadership qualities of each other. I am very idea-oriented, Landon is the organizer, and Zach is always following through. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and to fight and voice. I am very excited to discuss how we can better student lives tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And voice your VP, please.
Hi everyone, here. My name is Kiera, and I'm a political science pre-law major. No. Better? Hello? Hi everyone, my name is Kiera Newman, and I'm a political science pre-law major here at Ohio University. I'm a junior and I'm also minoring in communication studies as well as history. I'm also receiving 2 certificates, the first in political communication and the second in war and peace studies. Aside from my academics, I am the Black Affairs Commissioner currently for Ohio University Student Senate, and I'm the president of Ohio Global Studies Union, as well as a G member for multiple other organizations here on campus. I chose to be vice president of student, well, to run as vice president of Student Senate because I want everyone's voices to be able to be heard. Student Senate is doing a great job right now of trying to reach out, but we want to actively reach out and make sure that every voice is currently heard, no matter how small the organization or how big it is. Good luck to everyone else today, and thank you.
Thank you. And Fight, if your president would like to give an opening statement.
My name is David Parkhill. To those of you who don't know, I am running for president with the Fight ticket. I am presently current president of the College Republicans, but I just want to set it straight right now that the Fight ticket has nothing to do with the Republican Party, has nothing to do with Donald Trump. So I will answer any questions regarding that later if anybody has any. I'm a management major and am obtaining my certificate in sales from the Shea Sales Center. I really have a passion for people and processes within business and figuring out how to work with organizations to help them reach their full potential. With a sales background, last summer I spent all summer working with folks, creating deals and pitching my point of view. This will come into great, really it'll be a big help when meeting with the Board of Trustees, when meeting with administrators, pitching the point of view of the students so that we can get our points across. Last year, only 12.5% of students voted for Student Senate. This is pretty sad. I think this shows that students don't go to Student Senate when they want their problem solved. They don't care to take part in the democracy that we have the right to take a part in here. We, to fix this, need to turn Student Senate into a Bobcat Student Solution Center. Whenever students have an issue, whether it be academically, say they have a quarrel with a professor, a class in general, they should go to Student Senate. When they have an organizational issue, say they want to plan a philanthropy event, or they're trying to raise money, they should come to Student Senate. 2 things come from this. 1, we get to help Bobcats, which is awesome. We all owe our success, and many of you in the crowd owe your success to mentors, to other Bobcats. So I want to be able to give back to Bobcats just as much. Secondly, it gives Student Senate some power. So when we go to the Board of Trustees, when we sit down with administrators, they're not going to say, all right, well, only 12.5% of students think this way. They're going to say, wow, a lot of people feel this way. The Student Senate actually is a representation of the students here at Ohio University. To work on that, I think if we change the culture of Student Senate a little bit, reflect the culture of Athens, reflect the culture of OU, much more laid back, students will actively try and take part in the culture, take part in the body and the representation of the democracy that is Ohio University Student Senate. So I can't wait to talk with you guys tonight and see what we can make happen. So thank you all for your time, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. And green light with your president, please.
Hello, and I'd like to thank again the audience, and I'd also like to thank the judicial panel for supervising the first ever election underneath the judicial panel system. My name is Landon Lama. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am running for the Student Senate President with the green light ticket. I am a junior studying political science with a certificate in war and peace studies. I have been in Senate for the last 2 years, serving as the chair of numerous committees, the parliamentarian, director of university relations, and now I'm the current chief of staff. Outside of Student Senate, I'm an active member of the Phi Alpha Delta International, which is the pre-law fraternity on campus, and I'm also the interim chairman of the Ohio Student Government Association. With these many positions that I've held, I've been able to develop an understanding of how not only the university operates, but also the state government. That's why myself and the green light ticket in the audience tonight believe that I am the choice for Student Senate President. Like I've already said, I've been able to develop not only an understanding of the university and state processes, but I've also been able to develop a relationship with those decision makers. We as a ticket believe that all of our platform points and other issues that arise on a day-to-day basis are achievable. They're achievable because of our understanding that the Senate can't be the only ones involved. Senate can't be the only ones involved to make OU more inclusive. We have to include everyone on our conversations when we talk about change on campus. That involves the 4 other senates on Ohio University's campus, as well as the administrators. We must also work with student groups and other external entities, whether that be the State House or those in the Capitol, to make the Bobcat family a more united front. Thank you.
Thank you. And voice with your president, please.
Sorry, I can't get up and stand like here. Sorry, I can't get up and stand like here did. I have a broken foot. So, good evening, and thank you all for coming out tonight. Everyone on this stage, everyone in the audience, and especially the judicial panel for hosting the event. My name is Jordan Kelly. I'm a 4th-year student pursuing a PSS in Student Development and Campus Resources, as well as a certificate in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies and Diversity Studies. I have served this year as the LGBTQA Vice Commissioner on the Student Senate, and have previously served as the University-led Commissioner, West Virginia Senator, Parliamentarian, and Chair of the Rules and Procedures Committee. Outside of Senate, I've served as an RA, sat on the University Hearing Board, and am a member of the Multicultural Activist Coalition, and have spent the majority of my time advocating for marginalized students on our campus. Our ticket, Voice, was created in the interest of making Student Senate a body which is truly representative of the voices of all students on our campus. With this in mind, our team prioritized finding students on campus from different academic, social, and cultural backgrounds to broaden our views and allow us to connect with a wide range of students. Together, we created a platform consisting of 5 major and 10 minor initiatives that we believe will benefit every student on our campus. We hope that today you will be able to see that we are the ticket that best meets the needs of the student body, and that we can help you make your voices heard.
Thank you. We're now going to move into questions. The first question will be addressed to Fight. All tickets will have a chance to respond to the question. Fight will begin this one, and then we will alternate throughout. So Fight, please explain your ticket name and its meaning.
So we originally started off as the Success Ticket, and it just didn't seem to flow very well. So we had brainstormed for other names, and we decided that Fight was the best name. We are all outsiders to Student Senate. None of us have really ever had any experience with Senate besides working with them a little bit as an outsider. And we believe that this is part of the issue as to why not a lot of outsiders deal with Senate. Not a lot of outsiders know about Senate. They don't know how Senate works. There's 78 pages of rules and procedures. The referendums, if you're not fluent in legalese, is really not easy to read if you're a student who doesn't want to go into that much effort to read things. So we decided that fighting would be kind of an overarching theme for what we're trying to do. Overall, we're trying to fight for student success. Like I mentioned earlier, the Bobcat Student Solution Center is the theme for what we're trying to do. So whether you have a problem with a professor, like I mentioned earlier, say that professor has just had a big problem and a lot of students before you think the same thing. We came up with, or going to try and implement the idea of a professor watch list and publicize all the reviews at the end of each semester. So if a professor, say, has had 2 semesters in a row of under 30% approval, that professor will go under review, and we will proceed from there. Also fighting for student organizations, whether it's fighting for Greek life, whether it's fighting for your organization, fighting for LGBT rights, fighting for sexual assault awareness, fighting for mental health awareness. We don't have all the answers. So going out and talking to our constituents, we're able to figure out what students want to fight for. Once we're able to figure that out, we're able to fight, and we're able to put together, through our team of experienced leaders with outside experience, able to fight and hopefully win our opinions and fight and win for what we are running.
Thank you. And Greenlight as well. Please explain your ticket name and its meaning.
Okay, so shockingly, the name Greenlight didn't come from the Lord song, but luckily it's a good song. So the idea of Greenlight came from the past 2 years, Student Senate has really been building itself up and creating a stronger name for itself. So now we think it's time to actually go out and talk to students. So green obviously means go and represents us wanting to go out and talk to students and actually hear what their everyday problems are. Another note about that is we're not going to stop when the administration tries to roadblock us. So we played on all these puns that have to do with us going and doing what we feel is right for the students. Another thing that for anybody that's very literary, we also thought of The Great Gatsby, where in that novel, Greenlight kind of represents all the hopes and goals for the future. And we do have a lot of hopes and goals in order to represent our students better. Our platform then took the form of red, yellow, and green platform ideas. So the red platform points are those that are things that the university is doing now that we either want to stop or kind of redirect. Then yellow platform points are things that we want to look more closely in or continue to do. And then green light points are completely new, and we want to introduce those to our students.
Thank you. And Voice, please explain your ticket name and its meaning.
So this year, yeah, cool. So this year, while serving as the LGBTQA Vice Commissioner for Student Senate, our commission made the active decision to spend the majority of our time in the LGBT Center on campus to make sure that we were hearing the voices of the students that we're supposed to represent. And in doing this, we heard that one of the biggest problems that the members of our community had with Student Senate in the past was that they didn't feel like Student Senate was accurately representing their voices because they had no idea who their representatives were. They had no idea how to get in contact with us if they needed us. And that's kind of where Voice all started. We wanted to make sure that, like the members of the community I represent this year, every student knew who their representative was, and every student knew how to make their voices heard on campus.
Thank you. We'll now be moving into our second question. Greenlight, you will have the first response.
Hi guys. Okay, so after much protest and conflict within the past few months on campus, do you have any plans on how to make the atmosphere more inclusive for everyone?
So with the point on inclusivity, we have talked about this a lot on our platform. Being able to hear every side of the story is super important to our campaign. We believe that we go across the spectrum in our views and understandings. So being able to be that active person in front of the administrators, kind of that moderator between the two sides, to actively be like, no one is here for malicious intent. Things that happened up in the Walter Rotunda, got a little out of control, not a little out of control, it got very out of control that, necessarily should not have been arrested, things like that. The university administration did not handle it the proper way. They should have went through some more channels to make sure everything was understood more. Being able to have the administrators know that we are here to be brought to the table to have those important conversations about everything that's going on a very active campus and a very active political scene. I think it's super important. It's something we all believe in, on this campaign. Do any of my members have anything?
All right, so Voice can follow after that.
So one of the biggest reasons that activists on our campus have been
so upset is because they feel like their voices aren't being heard. They don't know who to turn to because they don't feel like they can trust administrators. With good reason, they don't feel like they can trust Student Senate because while we've made great strides in the last year to be more accepting and more inclusive, they have for a long time felt that their voices were ignored by this body. And Student Senate, no matter how inclusive it claims to be, has not extended the olive branch to these organizations. So really making inroads with these organizations and making them feel like they have a voice and they have someone on our campus who will listen to them is one of the most important things we can do to work with them moving forward. And I believe that working with the Multicultural Activist Coalition this year, have built those inroads and have fostered a sense of trust with that organization and with other activist organizations on campus to make sure instances like 70 students being arrested for a sit-in don't happen on our campus because they feel that they can have other avenues they can go to make their voices heard.
All right, insight.
So like it's been said, this is a very active campus, and we definitely do see that there are many problems on this campus that do need to be addressed. As the Fight Ticket, we are very much wanting to make inclusion a really big part of our ticket. We want to bring the organizations together. Organizations that are having trouble, they should be able to come to Student Senate, should be able to talk to their representatives and be able to get help and seek opinions and advice. But we also want to make it that they can seek other organizations' support as well. We think big and small organizations need to work way more closely together. They should be able to go to each other to seek, advice, counseling, anything like that. So we are making that a really big part of our ticket, that inclusion and diversity is way more paid attention to, would be the best way to say it. By doing that, we think that as a community, we should come together, have events maybe that kind of promote and support each other to better our relationships.
Are both members allowed to speak within the 90 seconds? So another big part of FIGHT is giving students and their organizations the tools to do things themselves. So say the College Dems and the College Republicans have never had a channel of conversation. Through Student Senate, when FIGHT wins, we want to be able to have Student Senate be that channel that people go to. So if the College Dems and College Republicans are talking, hey, we'll go to Senate. Senate will help you plan a debate. Senate will help you plan conversations. Senate wants to bring people together and be that channel, not necessarily holding hands to bring people together, but if organizations want to reach out and create that conversation, we want Senate to be that platform that they come to and work through.
Thank you, Fight.
This next question is for boys. Since rising tuition costs are a concern, how would you make the money we spend most worthwhile?
Thank you. I've been looking forward to answering this one for a couple of weeks now. Governor Kasich has recently proposed a tuition freeze for the fiscal years of 2018 and 2019. This is a problem on campus for a multitude of reasons. Number one, he's combining this tuition freeze with a alternative textbook initiative that is going to be very costly to the university. The idea of this alternative textbook initiative would actually be to reduce the cost of textbooks, which are estimated at Ohio University to be just over $1,000 to only $300, and include that in your tuition fee. While we think that this is a good first step, we need to be cognizant of the fact that we have to work with the university to identify other avenues to get the textbooks that would feed into this alternative textbook program. A few of the other things that I wanted to touch on were some of the bloated costs that we see here at Ohio University. In our opinion, in Boyce's opinion, there's a few ways that we can reduce, or we can make tuition more effective. Either increasing the state, the SSI, increasing the SSI, which is our state supplemental instruction fee, or by decreasing the amount of money we spend in certain areas. I think that the most effective way is to look at the areas that we're spending the most money in, particularly in the administrative area. We currently have nearly 1,600 faculty members that are administrative, that we spend almost $160 million on a year. To put that into reference, that's 2/3 of the undergraduate tuition we pay net of financial aid.
Thank you. We have to move on. Fight.
So we're gonna be quick with this one. So a lot of money is spent in places it probably shouldn't be. As in any organization that gets big, it does not perform at its full efficiency and therefore money is wasted. For example, 22.3% increase in administrators from year 15 to 16. That cost us $9.8 million. How many of those administrators are absolutely necessary for student success? I can't imagine all 22.3% of them. Printing made a profit of $672,180. Where's that money go? How can that benefit students more? Where can we put that money back into to benefit students? Going through the budget book of Ohio University, there seems to be a lot of money going to different places that maybe we could cut back on. Now, I'm not saying we hacksaw everything so that this is no more fun for anybody, but there have got to be places that money is spent that we can put that money into other places, invest in students, and get a much bigger payoff. So with this, we want to sit down with department heads, figure out what their culture of spending is. So take it from, say, if we don't spend all this money this semester, we're not going to get any of it next year. Take it to, how can we use this money more efficiently? How can we invest in student success? And how can we focus 100% on students and them getting the most money out of their tuition? Also, I'm probably getting close to time, but outside sales, we have the Shea Sales Center. So hopefully we can put together a sales program and bring in more money and put more of that weight on the university for their funding as opposed to all on students and all on students' tuition. Thank you.
So, in my position as the interim chairman of the Ohio Student Government Association, I will be testifying on Thursday to the Finance Committee Subcommittee on Higher Education to talk about the budget proposed by Governor Kasich, specifically the higher education portion. Like Dane said, the textbook initiative laid out by Governor Kasich would cost the university roughly $16.5 million. We are only receiving a 1% increase of SSI that's shared between 13 universities in Ohio that's then divided to the regional campuses. I think it's super important to recognize that if we allow the state to continue to do this, to give us virtually no increase in funds, tuition is going to keep raising. So in order to combat that, we need to be able to make sure that we have a very active voice on the Budget Planning Council. As a potential president of Student Senate, I would have a voice and a vote on the Budget Planning Council. So being able to be active in that committee, not just be there, show up, get the paperwork and vote, but actively be there, investigate, and look at the budget like it's supposed to be. There's a comment mentioned about printing earlier. Printing and numerous other departments are what's called an auxiliary budget. They don't necessarily receive tuition dollars. They operate solely off of revenue. So that money gets funneled back into either their department or their program. Their umbrella organization. So in the case of printing, it's now under Student Affairs. It's been moved. And getting back to just like the general fee, we don't operate under a general fee anymore. We operate under what's called.
Thank you, Green Light. We have to move on.
I'm going to comment back since he talked about what we said.
Yes.
Okay. So just real quick, I know that doesn't come out of tuition, but I'm not sure all students know where that money goes. And that might just be the outsider and me not knowing what goes on in depth, what really happens. But maybe we can set up a scholarship. You talked about 2/3 of the money that 2/3 of the money we spend goes back into scholarships. Is that right? Wrong. No, that was wrong. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. But we can set up maybe scholarships with this, improve other areas of the university. I highly doubt it costs $672,000 a year to run the printing at the university. So just things like that across the university, I think that we can put that money into other places. So, thank you.
Fight, this next question will be addressed to you first.
Okay, which characteristic are you most excited about bringing to university of your ticket?
I think what we're most excited to bring onto the campus, or most excited to make more aware, which we've talked about previously, is being able to fight for each individual student. We're not looking to be a organization that is elite from everyone else. We want to be at the same level. We want to be inclusive. We want to be the type of organization that people come to always about any kind of issues that they're having. We don't want to be this elite status that you can only come to if you have a huge problem or you're having a huge issue with your organization or with you as an individual. We want to be that more low level, right with you guys, working with you guys, going through the problems with you guys, kind of a ticket. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Greenlight, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so we have such a wide variety of students on our ticket, so there's a lot of things that we are excited to bring to Student Senate next year. One of the things that I talked about earlier would be accountability, and along with that, transparency. So similar to what Dave was actually saying, we want to talk to students about the processes that are going on behind the scenes, because it is hard to understand all the background knowledge. We also want to bring more unity as a Bobcat family. Obviously, the recent things that have been going on our campus show that there's all these factions that we need to fix, and we need to have conversations so that we can unite around that. Achievable goals. So all of our goals are things that we've already talked to department heads about. We've talked to with our ticket members and other students and seen how those are actually possible. And then lastly, we will bring experience. So we have about 60% of our ticket members are external, and then 40% are internal. And so that mix of new ideas and experience is what's really going to move us forward.
Thank you, Greenlight. And Voice, whenever you're ready.
Characteristics that we are excited to bring forth are alternative perspectives, as well as being realistic in our goals. We are looking to have the perspective of everyone on campus, not just people necessarily directly involved with Student Senate or people who have been involved with Student Senate over the past few years. We want to bring new people into Student Senate so we can know maybe what's going on more around our campus. As well as being realistic with our goals, we would like things to be obtainable in the time frame that we are currently here in office. We do want to leave things for our future Bobcat, but we want to make sure we set steps for them instead of just saying, hey, this is what we want to do, or these are kind of some goals that we can do, and not necessarily making an initiative to actually start these things. So.
Thank you. Greenlight, you will have the opportunity to answer this question first.
Okay, the next question. If your ticket is chosen to represent Ohio University, what are the lasting impressions you wish to leave once your run is over?
So our lasting impression that I guess we would like to leave when we leave Ohio University, when we do leave, is that we actively fought for the students to the administrators, that we did not back down when they put roadblocks out against us, that we were at all the board of trustees meetings actively going about and saying what change needs to come about, where the university is, telling them that we're going in the wrong direction. That's why we have the colors through our platform, to be able to tell them that, whoa, we need to reevaluate this. You need to understand that we need to be brought to the table. Far too often, administrators don't want to bring students to the table to have the tough conversations, but being in that position, I understand that we can handle it as a united front to be able to have those tough conversations. I think it's also super important that we have more, like I said, more student input. So one of our platform points is to get a non-voting student representative, or if they say yes, a voting representative on the Faculty Senate Committee on Educational Policy and Student Affairs Committee. We believe that if we are put out there from the very beginning and we're not told what policies are being developed at the tail end, that we're actively there from the very beginning, being able to give policy insight, being able to give those recommendations, that those policies at the end of the day will be better for the students. So being able to be invited and being able to take put with all that is discussed. Also, another main point is, since we've just developed it, is Utilizing the
I
referendum.
apologize, green light, but we have to move on.
Thank you.
Boyce, you have the next opportunity to answer the question.
So if we're chosen to represent Ohio University Student Senate, the Ohio University Student Body, the one legacy we would like to leave behind is that Student Senate is a place that all students can go when they have issues. It's really great if you have the ability to meet the administrators, and just being in this role gives you that ability. What's more important is making sure that you're communicating with students, that you're listening to their voices, and you're hearing what issues they actually have, and that they trust you to actually take initiative to fight for their voices and fight for what they need on our campus.
Thank you. Fight is your opportunity to answer the question.
Thank you. The legacy one we want to leave behind is that we can change the mindset of the faculty and staff, the board of trustees, department heads, and anybody else spending money around here and making decisions, that the only reason that you have a job is because of us. The only reason you have money to spend is because of us. People should not be making decisions unless students are the primary benefactor of those decisions. We also want to change Student Senate into that organization that makes those decisions for people. Board of Trustees, student trustees, they do great work, but Student Senate, we are the ones elected to make the decisions on behalf of people. So the legacy that one we would like to leave behind is that, one, the only reason that anybody here has a job is because of students and because of our goals and our aspirations. And secondly, the Student Senate is the democratically elected governing body that has the power to make these big decisions and work with the Board of Trustees and the administration and the faculty as equals, because again, we are the reason that they have a job. Thank you.
Thank you. Voice, you will have the opportunity to answer this one first.
Okay, so this was touched on a little bit earlier, but you guys talked about not having a lot of other members not in Student Senate participating in elections. So how would you get everyone on campus more actively involved in Senate-related activities?
Thank you. So Voice has talked about two different initiatives that would help us do this. The first of which is rotating office hours. Jordan touched on this a little bit earlier. If we are in a place that you're in, you're more likely to come visit us. How many people have actually been in the Student Senate office? Probably not that many of you. Our goal is to make it so that we're in your college. I'm a college of business major. I know that I'm much more likely to go visit my college of business senator and to know who that person is if I know that there's an office hour in my building where I'm comfortable to go visit and discuss what is going on with the Student Senate body with that person. The other initiative that we've talked about is alternative programming. These would be Student Senate sponsored events that would allow students to get together, especially in Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, to give us an alternative to what we generally think of Athens. I've heard from a lot of students that in Athens, there's not a lot to do on a Friday night except for to go out and drink. I think that that's an unacceptable thing, especially as Student Senate leaders, to allow to happen. Alternative programming is Voice's way of combating this by initiating things like caricature nights, 90s music nights, Guitar Hero tournaments, pool tournaments, any of the things that you guys would be interested in. And this is not only fun and helps you guys get away from that there's nothing to do in Athens vibe, but it's a way that you can interact with the Student Senate body. If we're all at that meeting and we're playing Guitar Hero.
Thank you, I'm sorry, I'm out of time. Okay, fight, so whenever you're ready.
So the Fight Ticket wants to bring together student organizations big and small. We believe that there is a divide in student organizations that keeps us all separated from each other. Why don't Greek life, intramurals, international groups, special interest groups, academic groups work together, build off of each other? We want to create a community where these groups realize that they can benefit from one another, not just here at college, but you learn from one another for the real world. And that's why we're here, right? We're preparing to go out there and be adults and do all that fun stuff. But Student Senate is just as much of an organization on this campus as anyone else. And we want people to realize that we, like I said earlier, we're not trying to be elite. So we should be working together. That's what we're here for. So I think the way that we can get more people to come out and vote, more participate in student senate activities, make them realize that we're just like everyone else. That we want to be a part of your organization and we want you to be a part of ours.
And quickly, just to build on that, if they see Student Senate as a legitimate organization that's able to help, then I think more people will get involved and more people will ask for help. So say a fraternity throws an awesome philanthropy event and people start to talk, how did this become so big? How did it become so successful? Well, Student Senate helps us out a lot. More people are going to start to come to Senate and ask for help, bringing more people together, bringing more opinions together, therefore making Student Senate into a more legitimate, more representative body of government.
Green light whenever you're ready.
One way to get people more interested in something is to give them money. And so Greenlight under the Senate Appropriations Commission would like to do 3 things: to increase the Campus Outreach Committee, to add a diversity and inclusion incentive into our funding application, and also something that we've been working on the past year is to further push through an increase of SAC allocation. So right now there's around $500,000 that is allocated out to student organizations. And through increasing COC, we'll be able to reach out to more organizations, to people on campus, to let them know that we have that money, because frequently people don't understand that we have the money that under SAC we want to give that money to. Through the diversity and inclusion incentive, that will help to broaden the organizations that work together. So as of right now, there's always a cap that goes on budgets for applications that you want to apply for. And so having those diversity and inclusion incentives to work together with other diverse or specified groups would be able to go above that cap and get more funding, which would then in turn bring everyone into not just SAC, but the other 11 commissions on.
We would also like to empower our commissions to go out there and work for the constituents that they represent more. Currently, Landon and I have been working on creating regional campus delegates so that we have voices for those students that are on regional campuses too. That was, we realized that we had a need for that when we had our last referendum. And then we also want to go out of the office more, which I think the other
Thank you, Greenlight. We must move on. Fight, you have the opportunity to answer this question first. So working with administration is a critical aspect of being a student senate executive. What is the ideal relationship you would have with the administrators, and how would you build that relationship?
Great question. So I think it's really important that the administration, faculty, and staff respect Student Senate. And I don't think that that relationship doesn't exist now, but when going to the Board of Trustees and asking for a tuition cap, asking for, say, maybe not to buy a $2 million house when somebody from outside of Athens can pour $2 million of brand new money into Athens. Things like that happen. So I would like to be able to walk into someone's office, sit down and have a conversation. I think that exists fairly well. We've had meetings with Dr. Jenny Hall-Jones, Dr. Pina, and meetings have gone very well. We talked to the CFO as well. People seem to be fairly student success oriented. People seem to be fairly open to talking to students and seeing what their opinions are. So just an open conversation where they actually respect the opinions and look at Senate as the body that is representing the entire student body and holding that weight of, these are our customers. These are the reason we exist. These people are only talking to us because they believe that this is better for our customers. Think about a company. If they treated their customers kind of like universities treat their students, they would have been out of business a long time ago. We need to change the mindset of universities that they're a business and that their customers have the rights that customers have everywhere else. Just because we're 18 to 22, 23 years old doesn't mean that we can't stand up for ourselves and actually hold our rights and actually hold the university's feet to the fire and get what we want done. Thank you.
Greenlight.
So, like Dave said, they met with university administrators, we did as well. We met with about 15 or so. We met with people like Vice Provost for Global Affairs and International Studies, Dr. Laura Jean Edmonds. We were able to talk about international student health insurance, international student scheduling days because we found out that they were at a great disadvantage to be able to schedule for classes. Having the understanding that the Board of Trustees is not the workhorse of the university, they are the end-all be-all, being able to understand that we have to talk to those entry-level people, those administrator-level people, that they have to be the first people we talk to. That we can't go right to a board meeting because those board members sadly aren't necessarily all Ohio natives. They all aren't living in Athens. And some of them aren't necessarily out for the best interest of Ohio University. Like you saw, Trustee Lake just resigned and is going to jail for running a pill mill. He obviously was not upholding the 5 C's of Ohio University at all. So being able to be out there, talking with the administrators, understanding how they operate, they take us as a professional student body, being able to have those tough conversations. But at the end of the day, if we're not getting what we want out of it, being able to call them out actively in the Senate meeting, being able to have a bill in Senate that says, this is not what we want the student body to be highlighting. This isn't a route that we want to be going. So being able to actively be their friend, but also
Thank you, Green Light, please move on. And voice.
So the ideal relationship we would have with administrators is one, like mentioned by with other tickets, where we can go and work with them on initiatives and are comfortable talking to them and they're comfortable talking to us, but also making sure that we are able to work with faculty and other students on our campus so that it's a give and take between these two groups. If we can present a united front with faculty and with other student organizations on our campus, then it only makes the voices of Student Senate and the voices of our students and the voices of our faculty stronger. So I think that's the much more important thing, or the much more valuable thing in this question.
This next question is directed specifically for the president of each ticket. Greenlight, you will have the first opportunity to answer. Why did you choose to formulate your executive ticket the way that you did?
Okay, so I decided to, I wouldn't say it was only me that decided. I would say it was a collective group. We all knew that we wanted to be in Student Senate in the future. We, had in the back of our mind, who's going to do this thing? We should do this thing together. And then we automatically filled out, this person would be great for this position. This person would be great for this position. Specifically with Nicole being a political science double major with journalism. She's very good at delivery, very good at being able to communicate well. And that's something we need in a vice president. We've always had that in a vice president. I think it would just be taken to that next degree a little bit more with understanding how, because she has been in Senate as a senator at large. She understands how they operate. Being able to deliver on that message of making a united Senate body is something super important. And it was Zach. Zach may not be your normal treasurer. He's majoring in pre-med, but he's very analytical. He can take something with a critical eye, and that's something we need to do, especially when we look at a budget. Senate in the past has been very good at understanding that we need to be looking at things more critically. For example, Senate numerous years ago found out that the university was spending upwards of millions of dollars for landlines in campuses.
Thank you,
One,
Greenlight.
that
We have to move on.
to find those.
Voice, you have the next opportunity.
So when looking at how to develop our ticket, and specifically the executive part of our ticket, I was really interested in making sure that the people who were filling the seats next to me were capable and were people who were very able to do the jobs that they do. Kiera has done a very admirable job as the Black Affairs Commissioner this year, both being the only commissioner on this stage. Having that experience is critical because the main job of the vice president is to lead the commissioners and make sure that the commissioners understand what their job is as a commissioner. Dane has had some incredible experiences working with finances. It knows more about the university budget and about the state budget than I could ever hope to know, and more about how the university spends its money because of his experience in fixed income. So I think each of us brought a really valuable experience to the table that I thought was critical for a successful ticket.
Thank you. Fight, you have the next opportunity to answer this question.
Thank you. So, if any of you have ever worked with me, I am not the most organized person. I am more of an idea person, think out loud. And in a vice president, I really needed somebody that was very organized, very, how do I put this? So someone who can take the crazy ideas out in the cloud and put them on paper and turn them into a plan. That someone was Allison. VP of Finance took her sorority from a large hole of debt and put them into the green, or put them into the black, which is amazing. Something that is going to be a big help in Senate. She's a great leader, very likable. A lot of girls in her sorority and around campus, people really like Allison. Heavy kind of guy, so sometimes I can go in one direction and just hit it. So I need people around me who are agreeable and likable. Caleb is very much the same way. A lot of people respect him and his leadership, whether it's in the 110 or whether it's in ROTC. Our diverse background in leadership and experience is going to turn us into a great executive team who can have the crazy ideas, turn them into real plans, and really make some real effective change. And the exec team is not where this stops. We have picked a lot of very good leaders. Trust me, the best leaders. They're just so good. You guys are going to be blown away how good these leaders are. Working as senators and then bringing out as commissioners. So I guess I can't think of everyone to deal with that one. But yeah.
Thank you. We have to move on.
Okay, boys, we'll go first on this question. I guess it kind of ties in with a couple of the other ones, but what are some qualities that your ticket possesses that make you most fit to represent Ohio University?
Some of the qualities we have that I think make us most fit to represent Ohio University. At the executive level, we bring a lot of experience to the table, like a varied amount of experience. So I've been doing the Senate thing for like 4 years. And I have more knowledge about our rules and procedures than almost anyone at this university, I would imagine. Kier and Dane both have a year of experience in student Senate, and our scope of knowledge is very different. So I think with that in mind, looking at the diverse backgrounds that each of us bring, and then each of the people on our ticket bring on the senator level was super important and is one of the best things about us, so that we're really, truly really accurately representing the voices of students on our campus, both inside and outside our students.
If I can add to that, I've been working with this campaign for quite a few months now. It's a group of 30 individuals, and I promise you I've learned more about issues facing this campus in those few months than I had figured out here through 3 years myself. I think as students, we all kind of get in a bubble, and I think our ticket has burst that bubble and is able to get everyone's views. It's truly astonishing to me what we've been able to discuss and work through. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you, boys. All right, fight, you guys can go when you're ready.
So like David said, our exec level on the ticket, we complement each other very, very well. We are all smart in our own ways, which kind of makes for fun debating amongst ourselves. You know, we like to butt heads, we like to challenge each other, and I think that's what a leadership team needs. For our Senate level, we brought on people that we believed were strong individuals. Strong within their social groups, but also strong as, you know, internally. They know what's good for them, so they're able to bring what's good for this campus. So we didn't just go seeking anyone to fill slots on our ticket. We really thought about it. We really took the time to research everybody that we were looking into. We took the time to sit down with them and really kind of get to know them before inviting them onto our ticket.
Yeah, I would agree with everything she said. I don't think there's a senator on our ticket that is not going to throw a very, very valuable 2 cents in. whether it's experience in an organization, whether it's where they've lived, where they've grown up. Just across the board, I think we're going to be able to represent students and get things done. So it's not just the exec board leading, it's not just the senators butting heads with the exec board, it's all one team. So it's pretty much just a straight line, whether it's executives or senators, no hierarchy, no anything like that. I am no better, no executive is better than any senator on the ticket, and I think that's what makes it so great.
Thank you, Fight. Green light whenever you guys are ready.
So I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, so I'm going to try not to repeat myself too much. But I think our ticket, our members, they represent all pockets of campus. So we really went out and tried to get somebody from a billion different organizations to try to bring them in with their new ideas. Our ticket members are all inspired, and as you can see, our platform was created by these ticket members. A lot of them have the experience that we need to take us to the next level. On the topic of Landon here, Zach and I knew Landon would be a perfect candidate for president because of his relationship both with the body and with administrators. He knows exactly who to talk to. If you give him an idea, I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but he sprints with it and you will have a schedule in your calendar in about 2 minutes. So he definitely knows how to get things done. And that's something that Zach and I really appreciate about Landon and know that that will make him a perfect president for Student Senate.
We're now going to move into our closing statements for the evening. Fight, you have the opportunity to do so first. You have 3 minutes.
So as a ticket, we believe that building a group of diverse campus leaders, we have the ability to run and win a Student Senate campaign. We believe Student Senate is representative of all the organizations on this campus, and we believe it's our duty to make sure that everyone is happy and successful in whatever way they're trying to go. Our culture on OU's campus is like claim to fame. Everyone here loves Athens. We're all Bobcats. We're all in this together, which includes our administration. And I think any governing body would strive to achieve the goals of legitimate representation. We have to reflect the culture of our people, and our people are our Bobcats.
And you kind of see how Allison and I differentiate a little bit. She's taken a really positive high road on this. Guys, we have the real opportunity right now to put a group of people in Baker that is going to fight for you. Fight for your success, whether it's against a professor, whether it's the administration coming out against you, whether or not you're getting arrested in Baker, whether or not they're trying to cancel a week full of festivities for you. A lot of students don't have a voice in here. And right now, I believe that we have the real opportunity to put a voice in here who's going to stand up to the Board of Trustees, who's going to stand up to the administration, who is going to fight for you on every single level that you could come to us with. So we really hope to get your vote, and we're looking forward to working forward. We are looking forward to working with you and helping you achieve your goals in the next 1 to 4 years. So thank you guys very, very much for coming out tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And green light for your closing statement. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Once again, I just want to thank the judicial panel for putting this on. Look forward to seeing you next week for another one. The Voice campaign, thank you, and the Fight campaign, thank you as well. I just want to start off with saying how Ohio University and the Green Light ticket is for all Bobcats. All of us have said that tonight, and I think that really speaks to what every ticket is sort of about. We all want to be here for all Bobcats. I like to say that I don't want to speak at you, but I want to speak with you. I said that to all of my prospective ticket members. I want to have a ticket that is made by the people and not by the executives. Like Dave said, I don't want there to be a hierarchy. I want us, we're all considered equals at the end of the day in the Senate body. The president almost isn't really considered an equal because we don't have a vote unless it's a tie. So being able to understand that all those people have the power to do anything, the power to speak out on any issue, being able to understand how the Board of Trustees operates, because in my opinion, you can't go to the Board of Trustees to actively be like, you're doing a horrible job, because frankly, it's politics. You have to wow them sometimes, even though they're doing a horrible job most of the time, especially with how they have been utilizing our tuition dollars. Like everyone's been saying, we do not have a lot of other options for sources of revenue, but we need to be able to they need to be able to understand that we are not actively being able to partake in how the other sources of revenue are being utilized. I think another point that gets tied in that everyone needs to be brought to the table on is, I do like to sometimes say, let's create a task force for that. Let's create a committee for that. I don't necessarily all the time think that's the right way to go. When trying to address issues such as diversity and inclusion, people all too often kind of beat around the bush, don't want to address the situation head on. So being able to bring everyone to the table when we have those conversations from all different spectrums on campus. All too often we are shutting people out that need to be brought in. So just ending on a positive note, all of my ticket members are well-trained, ready to go, ready to win, ready to take on anything that's thrown at them. So, vote Greenlee.
Thank you. And Boyce, your closing statement. You have 3 minutes.
So I got involved in Student Senate as a freshman. I was the parliamentarian for the second semester of that year, after a lot of things had gone very wrong in Student Senate. But I got involved with Student Senate because I thought it was an opportunity to make a difference on our campus. And it was in Student Senate that I really found my home on our campus. Before that, I didn't really know where I fit in, or I didn't really have a place on our campus. But through all of the work that I've done and getting to know all of the students through the work that I've done has really been one of the best opportunities I've ever had. And I want to make sure that every student on our campus and every Bobcat knows that Student Senate has the exact same opportunities for them. And even if it's not as a member of Student Senate, a resource for them to get their voices heard. And I think that's all we have to say. Thank you guys for coming to watch. Thank you to the Board of Elections, or the Judicial Panel, sorry. And thank you to Greenlee for coming out. If you want, we will be hanging out afterwards. If you would like to speak to anyone who wants to talk to us and give you all the opportunity to make your voices heard.
Thank you all so much for coming tonight. We hope that you were able to learn more about the different candidates on Fight, Greenlight, and the Voice tickets. Thank you to the candidates for participating, and we look forward to the rest of the debates. Please be sure to follow the conversation using the hashtag OhioUelections and join us for the further debates. The next debate is for college senators and will take place tomorrow, March 21st at 7 p.m. in Siegfried 401. Thank you.